What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday over here. Hope you guys are doing well. Bitcoin had a massive breakout. We have just talked about this yesterday, a possible breakout that has actually happened. Afternoon over here, Pacific Standard Time. It was massive, went up to as far as about 35K. Now, this is a very important breakout, not just for Bitcoin, but also for the altcoins as well, because Bitcoin is the main driver of this market. So if Bitcoin is up, chances are your altcoins have gone up with it. So very important to be paying attention to what Bitcoin could be doing here. Let's see what it could be doing in the near future. We're going to be taking a look into the charts. What could be happening for the altcoins? The main topics for this video would be about ANKR, the ANKR token. It's also going to be about, I always forget this, GALA, okay? And it's going to be about BLZ token, which has had quite a bit of movement lately. So we're going to be taking a look into these three coins. That would be the main topic of this video. Let's see what some upside and downside price targets are for these coins, as well as some key price levels to be paying attention to in order for these coins to go either direction, okay? I'm going to be giving you guys my personal opinions and what I'm personally doing in this market later in this video, so make sure to be staying around for that. Of course, none of what I'm saying here is financial advice. It's purely my personal opinions and speculations. I could very well be wrong. I am not a financial advisor, nor am I an elite trader of any sorts. Even though I am a profitable trader who's been able to keep most of my profits during the last bear market, and I'm looking to crush it here in the next bull cycle. So if you guys feel the same way, if you guys are feeling pumped on this Tuesday morning, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's get right into it. All right, so we do have Bitcoin right here at about 38.8K right now, pulling back a little bit since that pump yesterday. We are going to talk about it because it was just huge, okay? It just came out of nowhere. I thought it was at least going to consolidate a little bit before actually going through. So as of yesterday's video, I've talked about this, and, you know, for many months, well, quite a few months before this as well, this huge cup and handle pattern here, right? That has been formed since mid last year. So basically since about May of last year, Bitcoin has been stuck underneath this resistance of about 32K area. Finally got a very commanding breakout here. Okay, so let's come to the daily time frame here. Just take a look here. Okay, Bitcoin has actually broken out above the 32K area. Got rejected at about the 35K area, which, you know, I mean, it's still a very solid breakout there. Okay, so what could it actually be doing right now? Well, let's take a look into the smaller time frame, right? So on the smaller time frame here, because, you know, since we have actually broken out, taking a look into the smaller time frames, even the hourly, sometimes even the 15 minutes, sometimes even the 5 minutes, depending on what kind of coins you're looking at or how you're trading, right? It still makes sense. But I think for this time right here on this hourly time frame is reasonable. So what I'm seeing here is a falling wedge, right? The sellers actually try to break down from this falling wedge, but it was a fake out. So let's see if Bitcoin can actually break out of this falling wedge to the upside here, okay? Falling wedges usually break to the upside, okay? So that is basically what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I don't really have much to say about this except that, you know, it's a very clear breakout. Very important still to be tracking what Bitcoin is doing, right? Because if Bitcoin, you know, continues going, of course, then we're going to see more upside coming from the altcoins. But basically, it's looking very bullish right now. I actually think whatever Bitcoin does right now, except breaking back under 32K, is going to look very bullish for the altcoins, okay? We could have some slight pullbacks, some consolidation. Of course, there could be more upside as well. Let's also take a look into the weekly time frame here. Also want to point out some possible resistances for Bitcoin, because always got to be paying attention to some resistances, okay, some key levels here. So if we actually take a look back into about February, January of last year, okay, that would be the next resistance that I'm seeing, about 39K area, okay, January 24th, that weekly candle where we did see a wick that basically tells me that there was resistance, right? If you had a wick going to the upside, then that's basically where the sellers have taken profits, or short sellers have came into the market. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading into these wicks. They are gonna be indication of resistances. So starting from about 39K here, that is where I would expect to see resistance. Otherwise, the measure move out of this breakout here, this cup and handle here, is about 50K, okay? Just right underneath 50K here. Now, I also mentioned that Bitcoin did break out of this bigger falling wedge here. Measure move from that would be about 55K area. Now, measure moves are estimates only, okay? It could be over and under. It really just depends on the type of market there, that we are in, right? Also, you also want to verify whatever I'm saying here as trading concepts. Cup and handles, measure moves, falling wedges, resistances, supports, right? Familiarize yourself with these concepts. They're going to be very important going into this bull market here, what it seems like here, okay? So go ahead and do that. We're going to be taking a look into some we're going to be taking a look into ANKR first, okay? So ANKR token, talked about this last week, okay? Price action, still broke out of this falling wedge pattern. Measure move is about right above 5 cents area. Right above 5 cents area out of this bigger falling wedge pattern. As you guys can see here, price action here in ANKR broke out of this falling wedge, did nothing for a very long time, okay, for months, okay, even though it has a pretty good measure move there, right, just in terms of multiples, but it did nothing for some time. So definitely take these measure moves with a grain of salt. Of course, during bull markets, I've seen a lot of these measure moves just get completely destroyed by the bulls, okay? But during a what it was in iffy markets, this is what we kind of get. Right now, things are definitely starting to look different to me. It's definitely looking more bullish right now because of that breakout there, okay? So something to just think critically for yourself, okay? So now let's go ahead and come to the weekly time frame here still. Let's come over here to the 3-day time frame. Okay, I talked about this possible cup and handle, right? It looks like the price action did break out of this cup and handle pattern. We can take a measure move from this cup and handle pattern, okay? Now this would be one of the few sub patterns that we are seeing on this chart right now. So let's see if this price action can go towards this measure move, which would be about 2.5 cents area. If it actually meets that measure move there, we're still looking at this double bottom pattern here that was mentioned last time, right? That's more apparent on the weekly time frame. The neckline would be about, I believe it is about 2.8 cents area. That's the neckline. Measure move of that would be about 3.9 cents area. And then if it meets that, we're going to be coming back here and rechart what's going on and see if ANKR is going to continue towards this bigger measure move here, because this breakout is still very active, okay? Because the price action has stayed above this the breakout of this pattern here, okay? Which would be about, like I said, about 5 cents area. So that is basically what I'm looking at for ANKR. Let's take a look into some key supports and resistances that we have here, okay? Key resistance, weekly 21 SMA. That's right at the price action right now at about that 2.2 cents area. Weekly 50 SMA, 2.5 cents area. Weekly 200 SMA is way out there. Okay, it's about 4.3 cents area. You guys can identify moving averages on any other time frames as well. I mainly focus on the daily to the monthly, right? Those are what I consider to be bigger time frames. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and go to GALA. GALA here still hasn't done anything with it hasn't broken out of this bigger falling wedge pattern here or falling channel here. Okay. The measure move I had here, I think is still reasonable because I basically put it about 2 weeks ahead of where we are at right now. So the week of November 6th. I'm not saying that it does have to break out by November 6th, but I'm just making a reasonable expectation just for the sake of getting a measure move. Okay. If it doesn't break out by November 6th, the week of November 6th, then we're going to move this measurement down along this upward trend line here, assuming that this pattern stays intact. Measure move, if it breaks out, then it would be about 5.2 cents area. Now, GALA is basically in the middle of this huge falling channel pattern. So what I do is I come to the lower time frame here and see if I can get any clues on what could be going on. And based on what we said last time, okay, it looked like there was a descending triangle pattern, which is usually bearish. Okay, however, it did look like the bears did try to push the price down here. And it had a very small breakdown. In my opinion, that's a fake out, right, for the bears. And then basically, based on that breakdown there, I'm gonna rechart this, right? And it basically turned into a falling wedge. Okay, very important with pattern recognition here. And consistently recharting your patterns, especially when breakouts don't do, if breakouts kind of do something different, right? For example, here, the measure move from a descending triangle pattern is way down there, but, the bears had only been able to push the price slowly, just a little bit downwards. So, what I do there is I would just rechart the pattern and basically just adjust the bottom trend line, and it still looks like a falling wedge now, right? Now, take a measure move from this falling wedge. I think it's going to be just a little bit of a difference. And then it has broken out of this falling wedge, right? Measure move out of this smaller falling wedge would be about 1.7 cents area. Let's see if after this price action, after GALA has actually, if GALA actually meets this measure move, then we're going to come back here and rechart what's going on. So if you guys do want to continue seeing more of GALA, do make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll bring you guys an update on GALA if enough of you guys want to see it. Now let's take a look into some key supports and resistances here. Okay, key resistance, daily 200 SMA, that's going to be outside of the bigger falling channel pattern at about 2.4 cents area. Some immediate key supports here, daily 50 SMA, the gray line, 1.4 cents area, daily 21 SMA, the blue line, 1.4 cents area. And, both of them are very close to each other right now, okay? Those are going to be your immediate supports. Now, if we can also go back to previous trading history as well, and very easy to identify here on this daily time frame, okay? Just very conveniently here, okay? It's going to be, first of all, your previous low, 1.25 cents area. If you break that, then we could be looking at some lower lows here, okay? It looks like we were already at all-time lows. So it seems like 1.25 cents was already your all-time low. If you break that, then, there's going to be, of course, there's going to be more downside for GALA then if you break 1.25 cents area, which was what it seems to be the all-time low here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look into BLZ, which had quite a bit of a move lately. Okay. Now, this is definitely one of the smaller coins here. Okay, it's very small market cap. I think it's about top 250. Okay, so it's definitely riskier. But it's more volatile. Okay, so let's take a look into what could be happening here on this weekly time frame. Weekly time frame here, it looks like the price action has formed some type of a rounded bottom, right? And then what I think could be going on here is that this price action could be forming a huge cup and handle here, where I think the neckline of this cup and handle would be about 42 cents area. That is my very that's a rough estimate. Okay, it's not a developed cup and handle, but I'm just gonna say what it looks like. Okay, because we have pretty clear sign of resistance coming from this side of the chart here, right? These three candle wicks at about that 42 cent area got rejected. So I think this could be forming a cup and handle here, but it does need to come up to retest 42 cents. Could it actually do that? We're just going to have to see, right? We're going to have to continue recharting what's going on here to see if this price action will continue going up, or would it be forming something else instead? Of course, all of this is going to be against the backdrop of what Bitcoin does, okay? Don't forget about Bitcoin. That is the first thing I look at before looking into any altcoin setups, because if Bitcoin looks bad, it doesn't matter how good your altcoin setups are. It's going to be either on a very short leash or it's going to get destroyed. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look into, where was I? Okay, so let's see here. So we are at about, so price action did come up here. It's about 29 cents area. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the smaller time frames and see if this price action could continue upwards, at least in the short term, or will it be pulling back? Okay, so let's come to the daily time frame, see if we have any clues. We have a huge rejection candle here on the daily time frame. Let's come over here to the 4-hour. Or even the hourly, okay? Just not enough data here. On this hourly time frame here, we still don't have enough data because we don't have 3 candle wicks touching on the upper trend line. Do we have it on the 15 minutes? I mean, we have 3 that's very close to touching on the 15-minute. I'm going to count it as such. Okay, I'm going to consider this to be a falling wedge, even though we don't have 3 technical candles touching on the upper trend line, but I'm going to consider it because we have the form here. Okay, that is just what I'm seeing. You guys can let me know what you're seeing down in the comment section below. Now, assuming that this is a falling wedge pattern, because it very much looks like it, okay? And we have 3 candles very close to touching. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into a measure move here. I also want to come over here to the... I want to look at divergence on some of these lower time frames as well, because a lot of times it could help me get a pretty good estimate on where this price action could bounce, right? So we do have bearish divergence on this 2-hour time frame. But the the price action hasn't come down to the 2-hour 21 SMA yet. That's currently about 22 cents area. Okay, let's see how much divergence we have on the 3-day. We don't have divergence on the 3-day, at least on this trend. Okay, 4-hour, just to be safe, we do have divergence on the 4-hour here. Okay, so we haven't touched the 2-hour time frame 21 SMA yet. So I think the way that I have my pattern sketched here is pretty valid, because I'm going to be tracking that 2-hour 21 SMA at least for a bounce, okay? So I'm going to be tracking that with my bottom trend line here to get an estimate on a possible bounce here, which I think has a pretty good chance of getting a bounce just from past observations. Okay, that's just me. It could very well be wrong, of course. Now, so basically what I think is happening here is a falling wedge. Okay, so depending on when it actually breaks out, I'm just gonna say it breaks out maybe maybe tomorrow. Okay, sometime tomorrow we're gonna get a measure move of about 20, almost 29 cents area there. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing. If it doesn't break out, then and this pattern stays intact, then we're going to move this measurement down along this upper trend line here to get a lower measure move. Assuming this pattern stays intact, of course, if this pattern breaks down, which there is still a chance of, then, we're going to come back here and rechart the pattern and see what else we're looking at instead. So if you guys do want to continue seeing more of BLZ, do like, subscribe, and comment. I'll bring you guys an update if enough of you guys want to see more of this coin. Let's take a look into some key supports and resistances for BLZ here. It looks like we're above all weekly moving averages, monthly moving average. We're above all 3 days, all daily. Okay, so it looks like basically very short-term resistance, your hourly 21 SMA, it's going to be a very short, very small resistance, okay? We can even come over here to the weekly time frame. Let's see if we get any resistance coming from previous trading history here, because that's where traders are likely to take profits. It looks like we are basically at one, right? Coming from the week of November 8th, November 1st, 2021. Okay, you guys can see that it was basically, at about 29.30 cents there. Okay, coming from November 1st, 2021, that candle wick. Quite a bit of resistance going into about 32 cent area as well, coming from these candle wicks here as well. That basically tells you where sellers have came in at those levels and started selling off. That's why you get that candle wick, okay? And then, if this price action can surpass 32 cents area, you're going to be looking at these very clear resistance here. So you guys can basically identify the range for yourself if you guys understand the idea. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing for BLZ. Those are some of the key supports and resistances you guys should note, as well as for the other coins as well. You guys can find other key supports and resistances based on, what I've done here, right? You guys can repeat the same exercise for other time frames, right? If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment. Right. What I am personally doing in this market is I am leverage trading right now. I've been leverage trading for the past couple of weeks, as you guys know, if you guys been following me. I've been mainly trading leverage longs because Bitcoin has been on an upward direction, right? But that is not to say I will not short as well, especially when some of these altcoins have pumped like crazy at resistance with a appropriate pattern. Okay. Of course, if Bitcoin starts pulling back, I will also evaluate shorts as well. So I'm pretty flexible in terms of trading. Mainly going in the direction of Bitcoin, mainly in the short term, right? Also I'm also very focused on the what Bitcoin is doing on a medium term as well. But, since I can really trade both ways, I really just have to trade with the direction of Bitcoin in the shorter term. Now, that's basically what I'm doing. You guys let me know what you guys are doing in this market. Are you guys holding? Are you guys trading? What are you guys trading? What are you guys holding? How is this market treating you? Did you guys expect that breakout yesterday? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.